Making friends after college is not easy, especially when you move to a new city where you don't already know a lot of people, and especially if you move in the middle of a pandemic. Normally things just happen. You go with the flow and you make your friends after a year or two. But I've had a whole year of social isolation to think about this just a little deeper and really fine-tune a friend-making strategy. In this video, we're going to go over 3 effective mindsets you need to have in order to make this work. Rule number 1 about making new friends: you have to care about people. I'm not talking about your family or the significant people that you already care about in your life. I'm talking about people as a holistic entity. The barista across the counter, the tourist asking for directions, the co-worker on the other end of the video call. It's so easy to think of these interactions as transactional. They want something, I want something, so let's just get it over with. My manager once told me to be ruthless with how I prioritize my time. If the other party doesn't provide value, then the idea is to save your time for people who have earned it. But you see, it's a bit of a chicken and egg problem. If you don't take the time to care, why should anyone else care to earn your care? The act of caring is not about any particular action, it's about intention. You need to extend the intention of care to any human being who crosses your path. The second you enter into interaction with another human being, you need to say to yourself, I am going to show care for this person. I know, this whole idea can be a little overwhelming, and if you need to, take a break and go back to being transactional with people. Your brain doesn't forget to do things that you're already very good at. It's learning new things that is hard. To show care for another person, you have to draw on your entire library of human interactions and choose an action that you feel is appropriate. Sometimes that is small talk, other times it is asking a deeper question, listening actively, extending an invitation, or even walking away. I'm very good at that last one. Every person has a story, and you need to acknowledge a story by playing a part that fits into the narrative. You'll never fully comprehend the narrative because it's in their head, not yours. But when you have the intention to try and understand, it'll make all the difference in the world. Rule number 2 is about acquiring a diversity of experience. It can be very frustrating sometimes when you show care for a stranger in the very best way that you know how and they don't seem to care back. This is why walking away from people is such an appealing solution. If you don't engage, then you wouldn't have to deal with these quality of connection issues. When you sense a poor quality of connection, 9 times out of 10, it's because of a language barrier. They don't know where to put you in the story they're spinning in their heads because you're not communicating in a language that they understand. When I first discovered this, I tried to solve it with a brute force solution. As a software engineer, I like to write switch statements, where I perform this borderline psychopathic activity of categorizing people into types, so that I perform the correct action depending on who they are. If they're a software engineer, talk about Bitcoin. If they're in finance, talk about acquiring $1 million. It kind of works to a certain extent, but it's poor engineering because there's way too many edge cases. The more you rely on this framework, the worse it gets. Because when you read people wrong, you panic. The software engineer doesn't seem to give a fuck about Bitcoin. So then you start to search through all your other cases. Are they also into finance? The point is, it's way too slow in reality. The conversation is gonna get awkward. Your social conditioning is gonna kick in and you're gonna bounce. Why are you trying to manually write code to govern your actions? You're not a dumb robot, you're a supercomputer. Your brain is very good at picking out information that will help you succeed. It's been doing that all its life. You might be a little frustrated with your brain sometimes for being dumb and slow, but the only solution is to double down on your brain. There are 2 things your brain needs to grow: nutrition and diversity of information. Talk to new people, go to new places, read a new book, listen to a new podcast. Try and remember something new every single day. You're not going to be perfect, but trusting your brain to help you form connections with people is better than anything you can hard code into a script. Hi, oh, you're from Atwood, California? Is that like north of Temecula? No? Oh, I'm sorry. I just moved to LA from San Francisco. The city's so big, I have no idea where places are. Oh, you just moved from the Bay Area too. Atwood seemed kinda out of the way. I'm guessing you're not about that big city lifestyle, eh? Oh, the reason you moved to Atwood is because electricity is cheaper so that you can run a Bitcoin farm. That's so cool. I heard Bitcoin's gonna hit $1 million by the end of this year. No? Is that not true? Oh, I see. It's BS. So you run a Bitcoin farm, but you don't believe in Bitcoin, and you want to mitigate your risk by diversifying your investments. Diversity. Honestly, I'm a big fan of diversity, especially diversity of experience. Sometimes I talk to people and they tell me I'm a natural extrovert. Fools. I'm a software engineer with a brain that I feed every day. Rule number 3 is to recognize that quality friendships are hard to come by. It takes time to build trust and everybody is so busy with their lives. When you landed on this video, you're probably here not because you can't make friends, but it's because you want to speed up the process. In software engineering, there's this technique called multi-threading. Each thread is a separate process that can be executed in parallel. Any one friend will still take the same amount of time to make. But if you also try to create friendships with a lot of other people at the same time, when this time expires, you're going to end up with a lot more friends. This seems really obvious, but as human beings, we gravitate towards simpler operations. This is why a lot of people make their first few friends and then they just stop meeting new people. In software engineering, multi-threaded programs are notoriously difficult to write. You have to deal with race conditions, deadlocks, and a whole bunch of other myriad conditions. When it comes to making friends, quality is easier to strive for than quantity. Quality is a product of time and can't be easily sped up. Quantity can be sped up by applying multi-threading. It takes a lot of intention and care to get it right, and I will be making a part 2 to this video dedicated to the subject of how to make more friends faster. Having said all that, not everybody wants a large quantity of friends. For many people, a close-knit group of friends is enough to bring fulfillment into their lives. They only run into trouble when that small group falls apart for whatever reason. The most important question to ask yourself is, what exactly do you want? Once you have a clear answer to that question, everything else is easy. My name is Alan Z, Consumerist Monk, and I will be doing a series of videos on how to think like a software engineer to design the life that you want to live. Stay tuned and don't forget to like and subscribe if you're interested. I'll see you next week.